So, alright, what's up guys? Got another idea of what if Anakin Skywalker turned Obi Wan and Ahsoka to the dark side. So if you like Star Wars content or this type of content or just like what ifs, lore videos, video essays, reviews, comics, just all things about Star Wars, then be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. But why don't we just dive right on in? So, our story begins in Mustafar during the confrontation between Anakin and Obi Wan during Revenge of the Sith. Anakin saw Obi Wan come out from Padme's ship and began choking her. She had betrayed him. She had sided with Obi Wan. This angered him beyond belief. He was doing this all for her, all to save her from death and to save their child. But Obi Wan, Anakin wanted to kill him. The fight plays out as normal, but it's as they're clashing lightsabers and Obi-Wan gets the high ground and tries to get Anakin to stop. And in this timeline, Anakin does stop. He stands just above the lava and feels the heat on his skin while staring at his master. Instead of Anakin being arrogant with the power, he talks to Obi-Wan. He told Obi-Wan that all he wanted to do was save Padme. Master, all I wish to do is save her. Save her from death. That's what this has all been about. Obi-Wan stood there, pondering what to say. Anakin, you joined Chancellor Palpatine, you stormed the temple, you murdered younglings, even if it was for Padme. You've gone too far, Kenobi told him. The master and apprentice looked at each other, and that's when Anakin continued on. That may be, but either way, the Jedi are gone. I won't deny that I've turned to the dark side, but I'm harnessing its power. Obi-Wan responded. Anakin, the dark side clouds your judgment. It twists your emotions against you, forcing you to do things you would never do. They both stood in place, thinking of what to say. Anakin stood above the abyss, looking down into the darkness, and the darkness was staring back. He was alone. But what if he wasn't? He looked at Obi-Wan. Join me, Master, and together we can overthrow Palpatine. We can bring peace, freedom, and security to the galaxy, to our new empire. Obi-Wan was taken aback. The Jedi were gone, or nearly all dead, but he thought about it. He followed the Jedi code, a code that allowed for all of this to happen. Maybe Anakin was right. In order to bring peace, you couldn't just focus on the light. You have to follow the darkness as well. But he just needed one more push. Anakin saw the hesitant look on his master's face and continued on. Master, look at what the galaxy has become. Remember everyone you lost. Qui-Gon, Satine, and so many more. Now join me so we can make sure that never happens to anyone else. And with that, Obi-Wan deignited his saber, and so did Anakin. He jumped over to where his master was, and the two only nodded to each other. They both felt into the Force that Palpatine was still alive, which means Yoda had most likely lost. Anakin grabbed Padme and they started her ship to head back to Polis Massa. At the medical facility, Padme woke up, and she gave birth with Anakin by her side, as Obi-Wan watched from behind the glass. Yoda arrived, and he saw Obi-Wan as well as Anakin, and he deduced what had happened. Failed all of us, I have. Darkness into your hearts, and into the galaxy I have allowed. The little green Jedi spoke. He had a solemn look on his face, sighing, and he disappeared to Dagobah to reflect on his failures. Padme survived and gave birth to Luke and Leia, with Anakin happy she was still alive, and about their children. But this enraged him. Palpatine had lied. She survived. Anakin realized he had been used. He was only a tool in Palpatine's plan to wipe out the Jedi and take control of the galaxy. He looked at Obi-Wan and the two spoke. Master, we must confront Palpatine to put an end to him, and take control for ourselves. But first, we need to find Ahsoka. Anakin wasn't sure she was still alive, but he and Obi-Wan meditated and felt into the Force, and eventually found where she was. She had survived Order 66 and escaped with Rex. They both smiled, happy she was still alive. Anakin told Obi-Wan to watch over Padme and that he would be back with Ahsoka. He was going to have her join them. And with that, Anakin left to go and find Ahsoka. Meanwhile, after Palpatine and Yoda's fight, he arrived on Mustafar, expecting to see Anakin having beaten Obi-Wan. But he didn't see anyone. All he saw was the lava and the dead Separatist Council. In that moment, the Dark Lord of the Sith realized either Anakin was dead or he had betrayed him. Both outcomes angered him greatly, but in the end, it didn't really matter. The Jedi had all been but wiped out due to Order 66, and the galaxy was now under his control. Anakin flew through the galaxy, jumping into hyperspace, failing into the Force where Ahsoka's location was. He came across it and arrived at the destination. She was in a ship with Rex. They had just escaped from the group of clone troopers they were with. Anakin boarded the ship. Rex and Ahsoka were apprehensive at first, but once they realized it was Anakin, they let him aboard. Both were glad to see him until Ahsoka remembered what Maul had said about Skywalker being the key to everything. She had felt the severe loss of life in the galaxy from Order 66, and she felt a darkness inside Anakin, and she saw his Sith eyes. She took a step back, not whether sure she could trust her master or not. She asked if he was really Anakin Skywalker, and the Chosen One told her he was. But everything was different now. Everything had changed, and they needed to change with it. She asked what he meant by that, and Anakin told her everything. About Chancellor Palpatine being the Sith Lord, about how he used Anakin, and manipulated him into becoming his apprentice and helping to wipe out the Jedi in the fight with Obi Wan. But he and Obi Wan sided together, and they were going to bring Palpatine down. Join us, Ahsoka. The Jedi are gone, but you, me, and Obi Wan, we can start over. We can create a better order, a stronger order. We can bring peace, freedom, and security to the galaxy, to our new empire. He told Ahsoka the same thing as Obi-Wan, and his Padawan was apprehensive. She wasn't a Jedi anymore, but she wasn't a Sith. But what Anakin said, she always felt like something was off. The Jedi were lacking, and that caused their downfall. And now here was her master, offering a chance to make everything better, to get stronger, and finally bring peace to the galaxy. She sighed and nodded her head. She was going to join her master. Anakin smiled, realizing that he had just turned his master and student to his side. The dark side. They were going to kill Palpatine. Rex overheard this and was shocked. He wanted to be loyal to the Republic, but look where it got him. His fellow brothers in arms shooting and trying to kill him and Ahsoka. But here were his friends. He made a choice. He would help them. So Rex and Ahsoka followed Anakin back to Polis Massa, where they met up with Obi-Wan and Padme, who regained consciousness. Anakin and Padme were sharing a moment with their children. The Chosen One looked at them. He had a mission to fulfill. To end Palpatine and to take over the galaxy, all to keep them and his wife safe. So Skywalker, Kenobi, and Tano formulated a plan. They would travel the galaxy, first learning from the dark side, and after getting stronger, they would all confront Palpatine, and during this time, Palpatine created the first galactic empire and became emperor. 6 months passed, and the three Force users had traveled the galaxy, searching for Jedi and Sith knowledge. They went to ancient planets of each order, learning many things, and during this time, each began to flourish in their own way. And once these 6 months had come to a close, they were ready to confront the Emperor. Anakin had taken Padme and their children, Luke and Leia, to Tatooine. He hated the desert planet, but he thought that it'd be the safest place for them. Once they were finished, he'd come back, and they would begin their real lives. During the 6 months of learning and training, the three Force users had grown stronger, learning from some light, but mostly from the dark. They embraced the power, and in return, they got more abilities, such as Force Lightning. Anakin left Rex to guard Padme and their children just in case, so the three headed to Coruscant. They jumped into hyperspace and landed on the city planet. They hid their presence, but Palpatine felt something off in the Force. He felt the surge of power quickly vanished, and he realized someone was coming for him. But the Sith Lord only cackled. The fools, he thought. They would die a painful death. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka touched down to the planet and found a couple speeders and made their way to the core of the planet, and to Palpatine's new palace. Anakin looked up at the metal monstrosity and scowled. Palpatine would pay with his life for using him. They avoided clone troopers and the army that the new empire created, the stormtroopers. They cut down a few guards and snuck inside. The three had been planning this for months, and they had found blueprints for the layout of the new palace. Eventually, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka made their way to Palpatine's chamber and made their way inside. They saw Palpatine sitting down, staring out the window, out onto the streets of Coruscant. While turned around, he laughed. So, it appears as if my apprentice has survived and betrayed me. No matter. You are a valuable tool, but now all of you will die. Obi-Wan responded. It's over, Palpatine. The former Chancellor laughed once more. Oh, Master Kenobi, you underestimate the power of the dark side. Your darkness pales in comparison to mine. And with those words spoken, 5 Force users appeared from the shadows. Darth Maul, the Grand Inquisitor, and 2 more Inquisitors. Palpatine turned around and began cackling. Kill them. Kill them now. With that, the 5 Darkside users launched towards the 3. Obi-Wan took on Maul, Anakin took on the Grand Inquisitor, and Ahsoka took on the 2 Inquisitors. Obi-Wan let his anger course through him at the sight of Maul. He had taken everything from him. His master Qui-Gon and the love of his life, Satine. Maul sensed this and smiled. Ah, Kenobi, it brings me such joy to feel your anger, your pain. Let me help you join your former master and lover. Maul leapt towards Obi-Wan, who took a defensive stance. He blocked each strike from the Sith. Obi-Wan had gotten stronger in the past 6 months. Maul's strikes felt sloppy to him, like he didn't know how to wield the dark side properly. As Maul went for another strike, Obi-Wan unleashed a torrent of Force Lightning, which caught Maul off guard and crashed into him. He writhed in pain, and before the onslaught of lightning stopped, he felt a massive force push send him flying outside. Obi-Wan felt the anger course through him. His eyes were yellow. In that moment, he wanted to kill Maul himself, not let him fall to his death. so Obi-Wan jumped out the window after him and grabbed Maul by the shoulder and punched him repeatedly in the face. He used the dark side to strengthen his blows and bashed Maul's face into a bloody pulp as they fell into the depths of Coruscant. They fell and fell until Maul crashed onto his speeder, knocking it off course, but Obi-Wan managed to catch the end of it and threw the driver into the dark depths below. Maul was barely alive, and Obi-Wan finished the job by lifting him with the Force and choking him to death, and watched as his body dropped to the endless ground. He smiled, content with finally killing that worthless scum. He took the speeder and started flying back to the palace. Meanwhile, Ahsoka made short work of the first Inquisitor and saw Obi-Wan had jumped out the window with Maul, but she believed in her master's master, as did Anakin, who was fighting the Grand Inquisitor. Ahsoka had grown much stronger, and the remaining Inquisitor didn't stand a chance and was quickly struck down. Ahsoka cracked her neck and walked towards Palpatine, crimson twin blades ignited. "It's over, Palpatine. Time to die." The Emperor smiled. "Ah, you have much to learn about the power of the dark side, young one." As Ahsoka sprinted towards Palpatine, he lifted her up with the Force and blasted her with Force lightning. Ahsoka felt the electricity course through her bones, and she was thrown outside and fell into the depths of Coruscant. Anakin saw this and yelled no. The Grand Inquisitor laughed. "Skywalker, best to keep your attention on the duel." The formal Temple Guard unleashed the full might of his unusual lightsaber, and as it was spinning, he leapt towards Anakin. But Skywalker, fueled by anger, was faster. With his red saber in tow, he blitzed the Grand Inquisitor and slashed him down from head to toe, cutting his lightsaber in half, but also cutting the Grand Inquisitor in half, from top to bottom. He fell into two pieces and Anakin's eyes roared with a yell of ferocity. Palpatine smiled. "Very good, Lord Vader. That is my apprentice. That is the man who killed the younglings who stormed the Jedi Temple, who put an end to that worthless order. Now join me and pledge allegiance to my new empire, and I may spare your life, if you beg." Anakin scoffed. "I'm going to enjoy killing you for everything you've done." Palpatine sighed as he unleashed his two crimson sabers, and with a menacing scream and insane speed, leapt towards Anakin. The two engaged in a clash unlike any other, both going 100%. Anakin couldn't believe it. Palpatine was as fast and as nimble as Yoda, but as strong and as powerful as Windu. Anakin, however, was adapting. He managed to block each lightning-fast strike or pierce from the Sith Lord, but that's when Palpatine upped the ante and went even faster. Anakin couldn't keep up. He began to get pushed back, and as Palpatine was about to go for a fatal blow, his hand was pushed to the side by Obi Wan, who was on a speeder. He was heading back to the palace when he saw Ahsoka falling and managed to catch her, and the two made their way back to the top. Obi Wan and Ahsoka jumped in next to Anakin, and Palpatine had enough. He unleashed a massive force of lightning, but didn't expect what happened next. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka all unleashed their own Force lightning. Obi-Wan's was blue. Ahsoka, still getting the hang of it, used a weaker variant similar to Plo Koon, known as Force Judgment, which was yellow, but Anakin's was the most surprising. It was a violent and bloody red. The lightning combined into one massive bolt and pushed Palpatine's back, canceling it out. This caught the Sith Lord off guard, and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka sprinted forward with their lightsabers in tow and each cut off an arm. Palpatine, in shock, fell to his knees and looked up as Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, with his crimson saber, cut off his head. The Emperor was dead. The three Force users fell to the floor, exhausted with their battle, but happy with the outcome. And with this, Anakin smiled. The Empire was now theirs. 20 years passed and Anakin took control of the Empire. With Obi-Wan and Ahsoka by his side, the three traveled the galaxy, learning from Jedi and Sith holocrons, bathing in the power of both sides of the Force, but preferring the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan perfected his form and became a master of Force lightning, being able to wield it like no one before. Ahsoka had become one of the most skilled duelists since the Old Republic, and Anakin had unlocked his true potential and became the most powerful being in the galaxy. His power was unrivaled, but he shared his empire with his master and apprentice, and the three formed a new triumvirate. They had heard of the Sith triumvirate in the past and took that idea as their own. Luke and Leia would be trained under all three and would become nearly unstoppable. Padme was hesitant at first, but accepted her new reality as Empress of the Galaxy with Anakin, her children, and her friends by her side. Yoda succumbed to old age on Dagobah, his failure taunting him at every turn, and he became one with the Force, just like Qui-Gon. And with that, the three Force users ushered in a new era of peace, freedom, and security through power, and there was no one who could stand in their way. Alright, with that, that's going to bring this What If to an end. If you guys enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below what type of videos you want to see next, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.